Hey, thank you guys so much for joining today's live Ask Me Anything event. Uh, what is the title of this thing? How blind people get hired 2.0. It's serious, y'all. It's we're coming up on 2026. The work environment has never been more competitive, more fast-paced. The expectations have never been higher, and I think the expectations for us, the blind community, how we've been preparing for it is so woefully underprepared. We are so not ready for what's happening right now. It's insanely fast. And I got to tell you, the opportunities though are just as tremendous, right? There's people that are not like us, people without disabilities who are not taking advantage of the opportunities in front of you, in front of us, and that is people. And that's the core of what I want to share with you guys today in terms of how we can start to create employment opportunities, retain employment, and actually advance our careers once we do get to that finish line. If you don't know me, my name is Tanner Gers. I'm founder of AccessAbility Officer, and our vision is the U.S. disabled unemployment rate should be the same as the U.S. unemployment rate. And that came straight from a dream that I personally had when I became a blind job seeker. With the first job I got as a blind person, with the first job I applied for as a blind person, I got, which was weird. It was so crazy as I look back at that. But I actually expected it. I expected that to happen when I put that application in. When I showed up for the interview, I expected to get the job, and I did. So I didn't think anything was special about that. Because every time I showed up for the interview before, I lost my sight. Every time I put in the application and I got that interview, I got the job. It was done diddy, you know? I knew how to work. I knew how to get it hired. If I lost a job, which I did all the time before I lost my sight, I knew that I was going to get another one. And it was going to be fun. It was going to be easy. It was going to be no big deal because I was a white guy without a quote unquote severe disability. I mean, I had ADHD. It was ADD ever, before there was ever an H, way back in the, 80s or early 90s. And I was diagnosed as having a hearing impairment in my right ear. I can barely hear anything out of my right ear. In high school, in the sound booth with the headphones on and the doctor looking at you, like you should be raising your hand. You should be hearing some noise right now. But I didn't have like a real severe disability that impaired my life function. I drove, I went to school, I went to work. I did all the things that normal kids without disabilities that don't have the the barriers that we do, whether we're born into it, grown into it, or wake up into it. I didn't have the barriers that I have today. And so when I got that job, that first job, I was only blind 2 years. I'm totally blind. And I literally think my life is over. I think my life is worthless. I think it's hopeless. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. And then I get that job and I get that first paycheck. God damn. Like, it's just, I realize this is going to be possible for me. I'm going to make it. And it was like a few $100s. Like, it wasn't like life changing. It wasn't, I was working at a call center, but that meant, it meant so much to me. And, but then I got fired. 4 years later, I got fired. And, uh, and that's when I really started to learn what it means to be a blind person. Because I was already going back to school, so, socially, I was figuring it out, how people treat you different. My family treated me different. They still treat me different. And so I was on game on that, but I had no clue how discriminatory the workplace was. How difficult it was sitting across the table as a blind job seeker, as a candidate from someone, a hiring manager who does not have a disability. Application after application. I would even get the interviews. Like I would and I would crush that first phone interview. I'd get the first in-person interview, sometimes the second in-person interview, but everything changes. Everything changes when they realize how blind I am. And for those like me who are totally blind, I wear an eye patch. And I you guys might have like heard stuff like out this in public, but they're like I'm blind. Like they know I'm blind, but they don't know like how blind because I work really hard on creating eye contact. I talk with my hands. Um, you know, m- I move like I'm not blind. And that's something that I learned how to do as a sighted person. That's who I am. But it's also an act. It's also like what I've learned to do in order to break through in this sighted world that we live in. It is something that we have to do, ladies and gentlemen. It is something that we have to do. We have to assimilate, kind of like chameleon ourselves into this world so that we seem less blind, right? Because we got to come, and we'll get to this in a second, but we've got to overcome their barriers, really. It's their barrier, it's their fear, it's their emotion, it's their thing, their problem that we've got to overcome. And so I do these things, right? And so but they once they figure out that I'm totally blind, fucking forget about it. We'll let you know. Like it's like so so this happened. So I'm applying for this sales job, and they're selling advertisements to small businesses. You essentially Google searching these small businesses in different markets. You find the business, you try to figure out if they're implementing some type of advertising strategy. Then you get their contact information, reach out to them via phone, and start to sell advertising. It's very straightforward, something any blind person could do using a screen reader. And um and I'm doing great. And for phone interview, great. First in-person interview, I can feel this dude wants to hire me so hard. This guy wants to hire me. I can feel it. And I ask him for the job. Dude, just give me the job. Just keep offer me the job. So he goes, "Hey, let's go out onto the call floor. I want you to listen to some calls." Now, if anybody's worked in the call center environment before, getting out on the call floor isn't like something that they just do for everybody. That's behind a wall, it's behind a door. You don't see the people working in a call. Like you go to a call center, you don't see the people working in the call center. It's all walled off, blocked off. You have to go through doors, and you have badges and all that stuff, right? And so he exits the room, and that's when he realizes, there I am. I have my cane, and I'm coming out of the room, and I look to the left, and he goes, "It's this way." And I look to the right, and I go, "Okay." And I get to him, and I said, "Hey, can I grab onto your elbow? It's going to be hard for me to get across this floor." And he's like, "Yeah." So I grab on, and he takes me to the chair, right? He takes me to the desk, has a chair for me. I sit down, and he goes, "Sit here. Don't say anything." Okay. So I'm just listening, and like no screen read, right? I'm just listening to the dude type, I'm listening to him make calls. And he goes, "Hey, I don't know why he said that. You can ask me anything you want to ask me." That's what's up. So I asked him a couple questions. My third question, "Hey, when they bring people out onto the call floor, you know, what's the likelihood of that person like getting the job?" And he goes, "Yo, dude, the only people that make it to the call floor are the people that get the job." A few minutes go by. The guy comes back, introduces me to the HR director, walks me off the floor, and says, "Thanks so much for coming by. We'll let you know." A week went by, and they let me know I didn't get the fucking job. That's what we face today. That's what we face for years. And that's where the dream came from. When I'm in an opportunity to do something about this, I'm going to do it. It's not just the right thing to do. It's because we are the thing. Like we're human beings. We deserve the right to work. If we compete and we're better and you want to hire us, like, let's go, you know? So accessibility officer, we've been around for a few years and we're a digital accessibility company. We provide compliant, compliant services to government agencies. And then as that business started to grow, I needed to source talent. There's a lot of blind people that are in this space. And at the time, in 2022, I couldn't source talent systematically, people like me who actually had the existing knowledge, skill, and ability to do the job at the level in which it needed to be done. I couldn't source them systematically. I couldn't find the talent. So we had to build a training program. And we built that training program. Me coming up through vocational rehabilitation, I knew that I could source people through vocational rehabilitation. I could train these people and get them a job. People with disabilities, people like me should be doing work like this. That's the business I want to build. And so we did it. And in 2022, we launched our first training program in New York, and that was outstanding. We started to grow the program from there. We've evolved the program and, started creating employment pathways for people with disabilities. It's like you got to be the change. And this is how we're doing it. And I'm looking forward to doing it in different ways in the future, as we continue to grow this, right? And try to figure out how we could do this in industries like cybersecurity or human resources with like recruiting and sourcing or some other, perhaps AI resistant field. Because AI is going to change digital accessibility, AI is going to change cyber, it's going to change HR. It already has, it will, and it'll continue to do so. So how do we protect ourselves, right? Like that's why it's so goddamn competitive right now. Like it's so fast, the expectations are so high. You got to be amazing. You've got to be amazing, right? But there's a lot of people who just aren't. And that's where the opportunity is for us. Okay. We're going, and I wrote about this on Facebook. If you saw the posts, we're, people like us, we've got to have a longer time horizon for employment. Like if you're starting from ground zero, you have to have a longer time horizon. Okay. Because even when you can sell yourself as good as I can and you can talk your way through something and you get the fucking job, they're still going to take it away from you. And so you got to be so damn good. You got to be so damn good. But how you break through, how you really break through, that's how you line yourself up for the opportunity, being so good. You got your knowledge, your skill, your ability. Those are things you can control. You can control you, right? So you can get the knowledge, you can read the books, you can get the mentors. I had a blind person ask me one time, hey, like I don't have a lot of friends. Like I don't have people I can surround myself with that are kind of like on the same path as me, right? And I said, well, first off, you need to get better friends. And guess what? I don't have a lot of friends either, right? Because I haven't found yet the people that are in my near proximity that are in my physical environment that I want to spend time with, right? You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And so, who I spend my time with? People remotely. At first it was digital mentors, right? It was like you mix it in, Tony Robbins, uh, insert motivational professional, insert business person you want to be like, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, whoever it is, Mark Zuckerberg, right? Whoever it is, Palmer Luckey. Um, you can tap into them and their insights through their books and through their podcasts and through their interviews. And that's what I would do. I would find motivation through that, right? I would find my community there remotely. And now I have more of a community, right? But if you don't have that right now, then you gotta figure that out, right? But the knowledge, skill, and ability, who you spend your time with, that's something you can control. And that's what sets you up for the opportunity. And the opportunity is people. And so, how do we change people? We're going to win on emotion, not logic. Even when you're great, even when you're the most competitive, even when you get hired, logically, he just did not make sense for that guy. He did not know that I have a screen reader. He did not know that. All he's looking at is how the fuck is that blind guy going to see the computer screen? We went on emotion, not logic. And so we have to create relationships with people. And excuse my language, right? Like I get so passionate about this. I'm like shaking. I'm so upset right now. I'm so passionate about this because it's wrong what we have to overcome. We got to be better than everybody else and then some, you know? And I got my shot in digital accessibility, right? I wanted to do the same thing for as many people as I possibly could. I just want to give people a shot. Like I want the hustlers, I want the hard workers, I want the people like me that will do whatever it takes to do whatever you got to get done. As fast as you need me to do it, as hard as you need me to do it, as long as you need me to do it, like I will do whatever it takes. Because when I held that check for the first time, I was like, it was like freedom. It was like I have a choice. Like I can choose where I'm gonna eat tonight. Like I can live in not the shittiest part of town. I can do stuff for me and my family. It's so important. Like, and employment is so fulfilling when you're able to provide and you're able to take care of yourself. And you're able to, have the rights, live like everybody else has the right to, if they decide to. For us, it's longer, it's harder. And that's what I mean by a longer time horizon. Like people, emotions, that takes longer to change. But once we change it, that's when we're in. The reason why applications and your resume and your cover letters aren't getting you anywhere is because a piece of paper never changed anybody's mind. It might have gotten you the interview. I'm sure it may have, but it probably hasn't. You've probably been stuck in applicant tracking system hell, ATS hell, automation AI, filtering hell, where you're just like, you submit the job application as quick as you go back to your email, you've already got the rejection. If you hear anything back, and you're just doing this over and over and over again. So a piece of paper never changed anybody's mind. It might have gotten you an interview, but that's about it. So how do you do that? How do you start to change people's mind? You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it at the table that you're being interviewed. You're not going to change anybody's mind right there. Because what people are thinking about at the hiring table is they're thinking about risk. They're thinking about, wow, we've got this problem. Is this person the best person of the 150 other applicants? Are they the best person to solve this problem? Because we're going to pay some money. It's costing us money to be here right now. We've been looking for the right person. We've sifted through these 150 applicants. We've narrowed it down to these 20 interviews. Is this the right person for us? It's a risk decision. So you're not going to change anybody's mind at the interview. You do that before the interview. You do that with people. You do that with a recommendation. You do that by over time providing value, showing interest, having conversations, demonstrating your knowledge, skill, and ability by showing up and being present, being at the industry events, being at the local meetups, being in the community, being on LinkedIn, being in their thread, in their feed, on their notifications, and showing up. You show up for the people that work at the places that you want to work at, the people that have the jobs that you want to have. If you want to be XYZ, insert it, right? Like you got to be in that world hard and doing your dog and pony show. Showing all your new certifications, showing what you've learned, showing your thought leadership, what your perspective is on things. It could be you could provide value just by aggregating knowledge, providing insights, getting the best. This is the takeaway from this long ass article. This is the takeaway. And you do that on a consistent basis over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And I'm going to say it again and over and over and over. Consistency kills, ladies and gentlemen. Consistency kills. Mm. Because eventually a business need will happen. A change will happen. Someone will get fired, someone will get sick, someone will get pregnant, someone will die, someone will get in an accident, someone will get hired, someone will get fired, someone will get promoted, someone will move on, and someone's got a problem to solve. And right now, when the job market is it's so flooded with talent, it's insane. It's insane. Our last job application for a program manager had over 150 applicants. It was only open for a couple days. 150 applicants. And you know what? The person that I'm probably going to hire didn't even apply. You know why? Relationships. Relationships. It's a well-paid job. Person that's getting it probably didn't even apply. The person that I extended an offer to right now um didn't even apply because of people, because of emotions, because of trust, because of a recommendation. That's the opportunity for us, right? And so when we show up consistently, when we're doing the right things, when we're providing value and we're doing it over and over and over again, something's going to happen, something's going to break, and you're going to be right there. And that is how you create opportunities for yourself. It's through people, it's through emotions, because we're going to win on emotion, not logic. And when someone steps up on your behalf, they put their neck out on the line and they say, "Hey, Mary Beth is the real deal. I saw her do this, that, and the other thing. I really like her perspectives on this. She's super consistent. She shows up. She's at these local events all the time. She's dressed. I've talked to her a couple of times. Very professional. Done did. Done did. You know, done did. That's how you get it done today. So want to do a little time. I have so passionate. I go to reach to grab my coffee. And I haven't even taken a sip, but questions, comments. I'm going to pause here. Questions, comments. Let's open it up. Hmm. All righty. Sometimes that happens. It's just too much. It is too much. So, yes. So, let's go into like some specific tactics. Like that is like literally the strategy of how you do it. Or excuse me, those are like those are the basic broad stroke tactics of what you need to do at a strategic level. Like how you want to be doing this is literally like where do the people play? Where do the people hang? Where do the people congregate? Where do the people talk? Where do the people communicate? Where do they doing that? And I'm going to be right there all the time. And I'm going to bring knowledge, skill, and ability in that space so that people know about me, that people see me, right? So is that in a LinkedIn group? Is that in a Facebook group? Is that on Reddit? Is that are you posting on Insta? Um, are you in TikTok? You know, where do the people play that have the jobs that you want at the places you want to work at? So you want to be right there. And so that's the strategy. So the tactics then become like posting and tagging people, following people, and then commenting on almost every post that you can, at least liking it. Um, when someone shares an article, like you actually read the damn article and then, provide what you thought was valuable. Hey, really love this, thought this was valuable, blah, blah, blah. Um, you show up to their profile. Um, you, you know, you read their posts and learn about them. Oh my God, you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan. Did you see them play so and so? Wow. That's the kind of stuff that is going to keep you on their profile or on their radar. And then to go above and beyond that, then you want to start to create this like profile and presence online um, that helps people find you. So you're doing this like proactive approach where you're engaging with them and you're tagging them and you're in their space, right? But then you're also creating your own stuff um and sharing that as well. So I love LinkedIn for this. I think that there's a very, very narrow um um let me say this a little bit differently. Some of the like some different platforms like a Reddit or a Facebook groups, specifically Facebook groups or Reddit threads or subreddits, and perhaps the virality of TikTok. There's some opportunities there, but I think the real business that happens on LinkedIn. And the reason why you want to be there on LinkedIn, even if your main audience plays somewhere else, is because the recruiters are on LinkedIn. And so you can talk about your stuff that you do on whatever other platform on LinkedIn. You can cross-pollinate that stuff, but you want to be on LinkedIn because recruiters are on LinkedIn, right? And so you want to have your skills on LinkedIn. There's your profile set up in a few different ways. If you guys aren't on LinkedIn, I highly recommend you getting on LinkedIn like ASAP. And if you search disability hiring playbook on YouTube, you'll see, I think it's a 4 or 5 part like um, podcast series that I put together that teaches you step by step how to do all of this stuff. Much more detail than what I'm going to share right here. But the reason why you want to be on LinkedIn is because recruiters are on LinkedIn and they're going to be using their advanced searching and premium features, like their paid subscription on LinkedIn as a recruiter to find the people that they're looking for. Because job postings are one way that employers look for people, but actually headhunters, recruiters, sourcers, like actively going out and finding people is another huge way that employers find their next piece of talent. The other way, the other huge way is internally, employees or in first degree networks, like close networks, like the person that if I tell the team, hey guys, we're looking for, digital accessibility testers, I know that my people are going to like say, there's going to be at least one person that says, hey, this person or this person. And I'm gonna, they're gonna go right to the top of the list. And I'm also going to ask like close network connections. Hey Phil, hey Sherry, hey you know, you recommend anybody for this? This is what I'm kind of looking for. And then, that happened. So I post the job posting and someone in my network reaches out and says, hey, I saw your job posting. You should really talk with this person. I'll make the intro. And it was great, and then look, but you want to be on LinkedIn because that's where the recruiters are. And so like whatever content that you might be creating elsewhere, like on the subreddits or on your TikToks, like that video content, you can do that also on LinkedIn and you should, but you need to be setting up your profile on LinkedIn so that recruiters can find you. And it's amazing. It's amazing what you can do. Like you literally implement the strategies that I cover in the disability hiring playbook. And you could get recruiters reaching out to you, asking you for the interview. So you definitely want to harness what employers are paying money to do, which is to hire people to go and source talent. This is a huge industry that I talked about it earlier on the call, right? Like even acquiring a business that does HR sourcing and recruiting because I think that that's a job that blind people can do, and we can train them and certify them, and then they can go and find talent, and we'll get paid for that work. So this is one of the ways that companies look for talent. And so if you're not leveraging that yourself, you're missing out. You might not even apply for the next job that you get because a recruiter might ask you for the interview. How dope would that be? So pause here. Questions about LinkedIn, how to get recruiters to start asking you for interviews, optimization tips on that. I'll stop here. Who's not using LinkedIn? Okay. Lively bunch tonight.
They are quiet
Hey.
today.
I think
Hi,
everyone.
Tanner. I'll speak up. This is Kat. I think I've talked to you actually before. But I wanted to so I'm on LinkedIn and I've been on there a little over a year. The consistency is something I need to work with. I'll straight up say, I have a decent number of followers, and I find that like I'll put up really great content. I've posted articles, I've created all kinds of stuff, but it seems to get no traction. And so I've kind of been wondering recently, like, should a premium, like, would that be something that would help, like if I signed up as a premium member, or at the same time, I wonder like if that's useless.
Yeah.
And I guess
G-
honing in on like what you're doing like is important too.
Yeah. And can you be more specific on what you're doing? Are you talking about like yourself? Hey, what I'm doing, Cat?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're suggesting that people be on LinkedIn, right? I guess you're saying that
Yep.
you need to be forward about like what your skills are and what you're wanting to provide to people. And so I think for a lot of people, maybe we're in situations where it's like, well, we kind of just need a job at the moment. We have a dream job, but like at the same time, we just need some sort of, even if it's just a janky little job to keep us going so we can get to that dream job. So it's like we're kind of
Yeah.
in multiple boats at one time. And you know, um, like for myself, I've got kind of an entrepreneurial spirit, and I've had these ideas, and I've had like this platform idea that I've tried to put together, and it's kind of broad. Um, I've got a lot of like sales experience in the hemp industry, and my whole big dream was like to be a motivational speaker in that industry. And but also kind of across the board with like accessibility in general. So I was trying to work with that. At first, it felt like it was going pretty well, but like I don't know if I wasn't connecting with the right people or posting enough, or like I said, I didn't know if maybe being premium, like if you got a premium membership, if that would help traction and help people see you. I feel like not many people see what I post, and I feel like I'm posting pretty damn good stuff, but it's not getting to the right folks.
Yeah, totally. So, couple different ideas. So, algorithm suppression is real. Tagging helps. Hashtags will be helpful. Thinking about visual stuff, you got to look for the cited audience, and then content relevance. So, those are the initially the things that come up to me. So I just threw a lot of spaghetti on the wall. Um, where should we start? Of the things that I just listed, what do you think you're weakest at?
Well, I definitely try to put visual stuff up that I think would be appealing and relevant. Um, Sorry, what were some of the other things you mentioned? Like,
So like we're struggling with this, right? And um so at the beginning of the year, so business pages are not going to perform as well as personal pages. Personal pages is sounds like what you're doing.
mhm.
And at the beginning of the year, I was going to be posting, we had a strategy for how we were going to leverage and commingle the business page content with my personal page content. And essentially we're going to use my personal reach to amplify the business reach. And we were going to, and so every day I was going to write a meaningful post on LinkedIn about something about the business, about the industry. I was going to provide value in some different way. And and so I was doing that and I was doing great. And you could see the analytics and my reach increasing. You could see that the posts were getting more traction. And so there is momentum that you get with consistency. The algorithm loves consistency, especially if you're getting people to share your content, like your content, engage with your content, and not just like share it, like repost it, but share it like on Messenger, right? On a direct message or share it off the platform. The algorithm loves that shit. So but it's the consistency momentum. And then all of a sudden, we had a huge drop off, huge, massive. And after like what I thought was a very meaningful post that talked about artificial intelligence, AI, and people with disabilities. And I'm not sure what triggered the algorithm, but it was noticeable that I've been suppressed. And so I haven't been producing as much content on LinkedIn as a result. I don't need to do it, but it definitely helps my business, right? But I don't need to do that. Right. And I was trying to do it to increase our brand and our awareness and our marketing, blah, blah, blah. And it definitely helps out Rada too, right? Our marketing person is going to feel the tailwinds of the more time that I spend on any platform and get that consistency, momentum, algorithmic boost and juice. She's going to be able to harness some of that on our business pages. Not much, but she's going to get some. So ultimately, it's going to drive more people to the website. And so, one is be aware of the things that might suppress your content. And then equilaterally understand what are the levers that you can pull intermittently, not every single time, but intermittently that will get you the traction you're looking for. So tagging the right people in your posts, like once you've got that relationship, how would you tee that up? I'm glad you asked that question. Here's how you would tee that up. You would literally directly message somebody that you've been following or that you have a relationship with or that you've been trying to create a relationship with. Hey, I'm about to post this. Are you cool if I tag you? I think it's relevant. And then you share with them the draft of the post, right?
Okay. I like
And
that
then
idea.
right? So then you're doing two things at once here. So one, you're telling them about the tag, right? Then you're tagging them, right? And then when they see that in their notification feed, they're going to engage with it. Love it. Thanks, like, share, or something. So then you're going to get a little bit more juice because now the algorithm's like, oh, this person's tagging people and the people in the tag are really engaging with that content. So it's not just like a BS tag. Got it?
Hmm.
So that's how I might start to increase some traction. It's like, and that playbook, what I just described, is like how you get stuff to, how you get the algorithmic boost to help you when content may not be banging as hard as you think it should be. So, now think about what I just described at scale. You asked three people, what if you asked 30? What if you had 300? What if your network was that good, right? You would need to automate that and systematize that. And there's tools that can help you do that. Like that's a very real thing to do and to accomplish inside of 15 minutes. Like they have the I've used them. They have the softwares, you upload the list, you get it going. So it knows exactly who you want to talk to. And then you put the message in and it changes the name and customizes the message for you. So you can do that. You can hit those 300 people up in 15 minutes. It's like a $15-20 a month software. So, um, but that's, but you can't really do that to 300 people until you got that kind of network, till you got that kind of reach, right? And so over time, though, you start with three, eventually you get to 15, now you're at 30. Before you know it, you're at 300. So that's how I would start to do that. And then, um, yeah. The visual thing is tough. That's like changing so hard so fast. The visual thing is tough. And I would say experiment. Like push the boundaries, push the limits, like try to mix it up. So, I'm, telling Rod all the time, we got to say the same thing 1,000 different ways. And it's got to be good every time. It's got to be good every
Hmm.
time. And it's got to be the same thing every time. And but it's got to be different. It's got to be a different spin, right? So, our compliance services are designed for local and state governments. And so, proximity is power and relationships and can resonate. So, hey, local and state governments, like straight up, we do have like clients from New York to California. We've, managed digital accessibility compliance for assets that touch 35 million residents across the United States. And, um, so when we say, hey, like, hey, our customers in California are struggling with PDF compliance when it relates to meeting the Title II compliance guidelines. Want to figure out how we scale PDF accessibility? Go here for our comprehensive guide. And then so boom, right? Oh shit, this is California. I'm in Arizona. Do I got to do the same thing? I'm in Nevada. I got to do the same thing. I'm in Oregon. Do I got to do the same thing? Right. So even though the content was aimed at agencies in California, super specific for California, right? It could be even more specific. Hey, our customers in Los Angeles are really, so every municipality then in that's targeting every, and so that proximity is power, relationship, resonation. And so, hey, we're not Los Angeles, but San Diego, we got to do the same thing. So we can, you understand what I'm saying? So you can you can say the same thing a million different ways and make it different and make it unique all at the same time. You just have to be creative. What I would say too is what's really powerful is multiple minds. Like 1 + 1 definitely equals 3 in our world, right? If I'm the only guy at the top talking to myself, talking to the wall, then I'm constrained by my own creativity. I'm constrained by a one-way conversation of ideas and the cataclysmic, the exponential effects of multiple minds coming together and that creativity and that pinball machine bouncing back and forth. You will get creative on all these different ideas for how to say the thing that you're trying to say a million different ways in a different and unique way every time.
Sounds great.
Was that helpful?
Yeah, that's really helpful. Now, like, do you have any advice, like, not speaking about LinkedIn, but like just for those of us who may be looking for jobs to literally just get by, like with these call center type jobs, I've even made it to like final rounds of interviews with even blindness organizations. And they're like, you're a great candidate. You interview really well, but this other person has more experience. And it's like, okay, maybe they do on paper, but you can transfer my skills from this work and I have the same amount of experience. And like, I don't know. I that's been my biggest struggle in recent months is I get all these interviews, I interview great, they tell me I interview great, and then they don't hire me. So
Yeah.
it's
So,
super frustrating.
It is
so
frustrating.
yeah, super frustrating. Here's what I would say to that is I would recommend looking at volunteering at nonprofits. I would recommend looking for trying to find an internship or some type of opportunity where you can actually create a relationship with people. And then because those people know people, right? And so like you have to put yourself in the position to create the opportunities that you're trying to create. And and for us, we really got to do that with people. So, you know, yeah, I can't emphasize it enough that if you're at home submitting applications and doing interviews, and you're not getting anywhere, then even at blindness organizations, like I think that that's multiple things. It's competitive as fuck right now. Okay, it's competitive, and and so great, you were number two out of the stack of 150, which still means you got the same place as the 150th person,
Mhm.
right? And so we've got to have a longer time horizon. I know the desperation of like being, going for a minimum wage job and being like, it's so stupid that I have to like stoop to this level, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get any income. That desperation, you got to figure out how to shed that. And if it's a financial thing, like where you can't pay your bills, that's not this I don't have solutions for that. Um, but I do have solutions for that for the feelings of desperation. I do have solutions for, the feeling like I'll do anything. I've got to do something. I need something. I've got solutions for that. And and again, it's how do you get in front of people? So I would be looking at volunteering. I would be looking at church opportunities. I'd be looking at nonprofits. I'd be looking at even small businesses that might have internship opportunities, you know, like, you know, and don't get discouraged if people tell you no. You know what happened to me right before I got my break in digital accessibility? I applied at a blindness agency to do be a math tutor. I had experience as a math tutor at Pima Community College. I was like, oh man, I'm perfect for this. Great. I'm gonna get this math tutoring thing. And they denied me. And I was like, shit. And then I was like, well, I'll volunteer. I'll volunteer as a tutor. Then they'll see how good I am, and then they'll hire me. Right? That strategy would work. But even they turned down my volunteership. They didn't even want me as a volunteer. And I was
Wow.
like, oh, my God, like what does it take? And then within months of that, I got placed at a tech startup selling digital accessibility job boards. And they wanted a blind person to represent their company and help them sell. It was like amazingly lucky.
Wow.
And that's what changed my life because I was like, oh my God, a screen reader. A screen reader is the tool for this industry, this magical industry. Like it's the same tool that everybody uses. The tool that's built for blind people is the tool. So, but yeah, I mean, it was like I went from, you know, bottom of the barrel to the opportunity, you know, it just changed, you know, and so, and that can happen for you. You know, like, um, Justin, he's written a lot of our blog content. And he came through the getting hired playbook training. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, how does this dude not have a job? And so I was trying to, like, I was reaching out to people like, you got to hire this guy, like, hire this guy. And I was like, Justin, like, what can I do? Like, tell me something you can do. Like, I will hire you to do it. Just tell me something you can do. And he's like, I like to write. And I was like, you know, when you do some blog content, you do blog posts? He's like, I would love to do blog posts. I was like, what about content like this? He's like, absolutely. And he's like, and then he just produced these amazing blog posts. Rada, do you want to share Justin's performance on our website analytics with regards to his first, like, as he started producing blog content? You want to share that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. One of his blog posts just reached more than 1,000 clicks in just a week, and that's like 100x times the usual performance of our vlogs. And it just kept going because he was able to leverage the subject of um discrimination and more on the government side. And it was well written, well researched. That's why most of our visitors who we can track who's reading our blog posts, and most people we're attracting are in line with the persona that the business is after. So
So
it's really awesome.
Justin drops the first blog post for us. First blog post, like with over, I think we posted it on like a Friday, and it was like by Monday, it was the number one visited page of our entire website
All time.
and all time. And we've been the website, but this is like earlier this year. We've been in business for like 4 years, right? So, um, and then the hits kept coming. He had like the second blog post even better than the first one. The next blog post, it was so good. And then now what? You know, Justin's off doing his own thing. Justin's off like I can't even hire Justin. Like I want to, like I message him, hey, you want to write another, he's so busy right now. And so that's like, you know, you know, that kind of, you know, opportunity only happens like one because you're great, and then two is like you're around the people that can open the doors and create the opportunities for you. I met Justin in a training program. He was just in a training program, and I was just like, this guy is like insane. And everybody here on this call, everybody here on this Ask Me Anything can do the same thing. You can control what you can control, and that's you. You can always better your best. And so if you need something right now, I would look at, something that doesn't pay and use that as your stepping stone to get into something that does. And that may not be the right stepping stone, the first one, the second one, the third one, but you're going to continue to create a network of relationships of people who know the, consistent hard work that you can do and the value you provide.
Okay, that's super encouraging. Thank you for answering all that.
100. Thank you for asking, Kat. Super appreciate it. Rada, I shut up my screen reader. Was there a question in the comment, or did I misread that?
No, I'm not seeing any question or any hands raised.
Okie doke.
Can I add something if I may?
Absolutely, Mary Beth.
I just a couple of thoughts that just because job hunting, it does take time, especially if you cannot see. It's, the employers don't know what they don't know and they don't realize. So they are a little leery of hiring anyone with a disability. So first of all, it's exhausting. And I've found that there's been a couple times I've had to back off just because I'm exhausted. I need a mental break. Give yourself that grace to know, okay, I need a job, but I also need my mental well-being. And, if it's taking really long, give yourself a little time to catch your breath and regroup and then go at it again. And the other thing is, I've been blind my entire life and I learned young. You have to work twice as hard to prove you're half as good. And
Mhm.
it's just the sad truth. And it's that again, that goes back to it's just exhausting. But hang in there, if you need a temporary break, give yourself that grace to, I need to regroup. I need to, I'm getting frustrated, I'm getting depressed, I'm getting aggravated. Give yourself time if you need it. That forgiving yourself is the hardest thing to do sometimes is like but you have to take care of you too. So that's the only thing I wanted just from personal experience.
I was nodding at you the whole time, Mary Beth. I couldn't agree with you more. You got to find that work-life balance, that mental health balance, and it's so debilitating being told no and just constantly working and feeling like you're not getting anywhere, feelings of isolation, loneliness, like desperation. Yeah, it's hard. Um, it's super hard. And so I get it. Like I get it why people like and taking a break is not giving up. I don't want to say that, but people do give
No, it's
up,
not, but
right?
sometimes, yeah, people do, but it's just that if you need time to regroup and like, okay, what can I do different? What can I do better? What can I do to improve? I'm forever taking classes. Tanner knows. It might be short classes, it might be just you know, little seminars, whatever. I'm always trying to keep learning because that keeps my
Yep.
mind active and it also might trigger something. I might meet somebody. That's where I come in contact with people is through all sorts of learning opportunities because that's what works for me personally. I love learning. So, and
Yep.
I'm never going to things are constantly changing, as Tanner mentioned. So I'm always trying to learn to keep up with things because there's always something new to learn.
Yeah.
So,
And if you can get out into in-person events, like the best that you can. If you can get sighted assistance, great. If you can't, that's okay too. It's scary as hell, but get out there and do it. You will meet people that are your people. You will meet good people. So I've been inserting myself into the local startup and CEO and leadership communities and really looking for that, that local group and for a few different reasons. and it's really scary, and like I show up to this thing and it's like open space, all these high top tables, they're gonna do a presentation, like I'm there by myself, I don't know anybody, like make my way to the table, like I'm trying to like insert myself into like, there's audience participation, right? So I'm trying to insert myself into the conversation and like da 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 da. And so I'm leaving and I don't, besides that, I don't really talk to anybody directly. And and so I'm leaving and I'm standing on the curb waiting for my Uber and this woman walks by me. She steps off the curb and she into the parking lot and she turns around. She says, "Hey, uh, do you want to ride? I'm not doing anything for like an hour. I don't have to be to my next thing for like an hour. Do you want to ride?" I was like, stranger danger? Like I was like, no, I think I'll be okay. She goes, "You're sure?" Like I can, whatever, whatever they said. And I was like, you know what? Like I am here to meet people. Like I am trying to like do this. So I was like, sure, why not? We get in the car, like have this awesome conversation. She brings me to my house and she and I end up, she then offers to like pick me up and bring me to the events and be my sighted guide. And she was super helpful. She was like, it was awesome. And so you will meet people like that out in meetups. You will meet people who want to help. You will meet people who are assholes. You'll meet people who are rude, and you'll meet people who don't get it. And that's the fastest way to figure out who you don't want to hang out with, right? Not that you're in the wrong spot, right? But it's just the wrong person. But the right people, you will attract the right people to you. And that's your group, right? And then you start to provide value. You show your knowledge, your skill, your ability and I'm sure that lady, her name's Dawn, right? I'm sure, she heard me talking, right? And then she saw me walking and she saw me with my cane. And then she stopped and said something, right? You and Dawn ended up having like, you know, other positive influences in my life in different ways that were completely outside of that community. So, you know, the power is people, right? And so please harness that. Other people without disabilities are not understanding the emotional power, right? The connection, the that people are your paths to unlocking your next move, right? Show off your skills, show off your knowledge, show off your ability, find your community, get out in person, do the right things, connect with the people that have the jobs that you want, working at the companies that you want to work for. There's so many things. I love you guys so much. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate the conversation, and we will see you on the next Ask Me Anything. If you guys haven't registered, we've got the next one is coming up, I think in November. We've got the series, the link that you use to register for this one. Um, there's the series listed right there. Rada, what's the date of the next one? Date and time of the next AMA?
It's in November 4th, still 2 p.m. Pacific.
Great. So we got November 4, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. And until the next time, if you guys, we'll be sending out the recording for this. And if you go to the Able blog, ABLLE.org, Able blog, ABLLE.org/blog, we've got thank you, Rada. Rada put the URL in the chat, ABLLE.org, Able. If you go to that blog, we've got a ton of resources that are all designed to help people who are blind or visually impaired, succeed in the workplace, to find a job, to break into their next career, how to use AI, how to advance your career opportunities, a ton of stuff. It's all right there. And until next time, we will see you guys at the Ask Me Anything. Thank you.
AccessAbility Officer. Ability is our middle name.